Okay, while I stopped the film, I went in there and I removed that little sketch of a circle that I had so that it looks more like a painting. And I did most of my edges, but then while I was wiping that off, I kind of smudged things. But this is pretty much what I want it to look like. And now we're going to go in and put some leaves in here. And remember, not too many leaves. You don't want your leaves taking over your painting of the flowers. So here again, this is and this is why we teach not to get to your darkest color first, because it just adds a depth and a dimension, and you're going to see that. I promise you're going to see it. I am using a chartreuse. You can use chartreuses run so light to dark. You can use moss green is a good one. And then I want you to pick whatever darker green that you like. This is actually called dark green that I'm doing. I'm going to show you what I'm doing to make a leaf. If the petal was here, I am going into that petal here on the side, and as I pull this, I'm going smaller and smaller and smaller, and where I stop is making my leaf vein. Then I'm going to load my brush again, and I didn't have really enough dark in here to show you what I'm doing there. That's better. But I do want some light. Now I got a little bit too much, but for the purpose of this it'll work. And then I'm going to come up along that petal again, and now I'm going to start doing like little commas, backwards commas, C's, whatever you want to call that stroke. And I'm pulling it, and see, I'm leaving a highlight there. I'm not going to wipe that out. I'm going to come around here, I'm going to make like a little comma. There's the point of my leaf. We can come back later, we can get more paint out here to shape this out here better, but we're going to come back with a darker color, and I'm going to try to do it right here. After this is all fired, and I do have some of that yellowish green in there, I'm going to use a much darker color and come in here and build up some of that dark, just a little bit of it, to show where that petal is overlapping that leaf. I hope this made sense. So that's why we do things in layers. I hope that I'm teaching you something here. So I'm going to do just a couple of them, and then I'm going to stop the recording and finish it out. So now I'm going into my light green, and again, we don't put petals right in here where these two, or excuse me, leaves right where these two petals come together. So I'm going to do one up here. I'm going to start one right here, and a leaf of a forget-me-not is very long and skinny. Does it look right in these pictures? Nah, not necessarily, but I do like to make mine a little bit longer than what some people do. Here's my leaf. I'm going to come around here. Hopefully I keep it in the picture, and there's the point of my leaf. Now, every time I make a leaf, I go back in and I add more color. Now I can come in here and slant this next leaf off by going in the center. Okay, but we come in here. I'm still not really off that center point where those come together. And I come dance around that leaf just a little bit, or excuse me, around that petal. You'd think I'd painted before. And I want this, I made this leaf too big. I come down here, and again, just make that. Now, I'm also out of shape, I can see, but I'm gonna put just a little bit of paint there to shape that leaf. Everybody says not to make Mickey Mouse ears. I don't have any problem with Mickey Mouse ears, meaning two leaves just painted out like this on a picture like this, because we're going to have buds to deal with. So I probably would come over here and paint maybe a single leaf, and I don't know, my leaves all tend to go in the same direction, but I try to get them. I'm going to paint this. And again, we don't have to be perfect. Get part of a leaf on there. I think you see what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and shut off while I finish the leaves. Okay, now I have 2 whole flowers here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 partial flowers. I've done like 5 leaves. There isn't any rhyme or reason to it. That's just the way it all came out and what I think will look okay. I could go in here and make a couple other petals here. We'll leave that until the next time. Maybe it'll look right if we take and just wipe out some like little indications that there are petals there. But what I want to do now is to come in here and I want to put some buds into this stuff. And I'll tell you, buds work really, really well in wet paint. I'm going to add just a little bit more paint out here. And I'm going to try to get it fluffed out. But they are so pretty, and I didn't leave enough in enough places. But what we're going to do is come off of the leaf grouping, and we're going to do our lines of movement with these buds. I have used my number 4 again. I'm loading it full with paint, probably like a medium load. I don't have it real soupy, but I do have it a little bit looser than if I was painting. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to dot, 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 dot. I'm going to get my lines going the way I want it. Just like that. I'm going to come in here with the line of opposition. See, we probably won't need any little petals here because I'm going to come in here. I'm going to dot, dot, dot. See how I'm laying my brush down? They do kind of have a look of being too square. I want these kind of cone shape coming out. But don't worry, we're going to get rid of that. Now, my next group, and remember uneven, I know you know that from your oil paintings, but I'm going to come up here from the top, and see these 2 are going opposite directions, so I can bring this any way I want to bring it. But I'm going to do just a little short, and doesn't that look appealing? Now, here is the really cool part that makes it look nice when you're doing it into wet paint. See, I have wet paint in both of these little areas. I'm going to come in here with my cleaning tool. I'm using this sharp edge, and I'm going to pounce this. I'm going to break up those dots. I'm not wiping because I'm bringing what's on my cleaning tool is going to come out here into the end. And trust me when I tell you that when we put paint over those, that's going to shade them and they're going to look so cool. So I do this, I break them up all the way down, and I do it all the way around. This is ready for a first fire. I hope you can see this. This is one of the little baby shoes that I paint. It has 1 fairing on it. It was done in cranberry, and of course I don't have any cranberry mixed right now. I'm going to show you just, I'll go through the next fairing on the other one if you want, but just so that you see what we're doing, I'm coming in here and I'm going to shade right over the top of what I've painted there and around that focal point so that I get some shading on the flower. I set this one up so that it's the focal point. I take this paint around. I got a little bit too much on there, so I wiped some out of my brush. I'm going to come back, smooth that out some. See how I've shaded this flower underneath? And then I would even come in here, and I'm going to come in to that petal to make more of a definition because there isn't a lot of definition there. And I'm going to come around those petals and shape that back up again. I'll come in, this petal's awfully light. I'll put a dab of paint down there. It makes a big difference, but that's how I'm setting this up so that we can come in here and make that shadow, and we're going to be pushing this flower, we're going to push that flower back even further, but we're going to push them back. So I hope I've got something for you to work with.